Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast and increase your financial wisdom. You will find episodes about investments, the infinite banking concept, how to fight inflation, the financial side of retirement, and financial questions Jesse asked his girlfriend. Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast on any podcast platform or watch it on YouTube. There are new episodes of the Wealth Talks podcast weekly. Search for Wealth Talks podcast online and subscribe for free.
Seeking natural solutions for your health and wellness? Look no further than Garden Root Remedy. We offer handcrafted herbal tinctures, salves, teas, and more made with only the highest quality organic herbs. We provide personalized consultations to help you find the perfect herbal remedy for your specific needs. Experience the power of nature's healing touch. Visit Garden Root Remedy online at gardenrootremedy.com. That's gardenrootremedy.com. Rooted in nature, blooming with wellness.
Attention, you're listening to the Todd Huff Radio Show, America's home for conservative, not bitter talk radio. Be advised that the content of this program has been documented to prevent and even cure liberalism, and listening may cause you to lean to the right. Here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Well, that is right, my friends. Listen, we're in hour 2 of the program. If you missed hour 1, shame on you. I'm kidding. Shame on you. Shame on you. But you can listen to that program on the website or anywhere that you listen to podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can go to our website, toddhuffshow.com. But the reason I will mention that from time to time, because I know folks are, able to listen at different times when you're commuting or whatever your schedule looks like, if you're driving, listening on the radio, whatever. But I referenced that specifically today because in the first hour, I talked a little bit about the first segment of the first hour. I talked about this situation we have. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, this Signal channel where they let a journalist in from the Atlantic. It's a journalist, by the way, who hates Republicans. Anyway, it's a bad situation. And I admitted in that segment, the jury's still out on a lot of stuff. We're still getting information. As Tulsi Gabbard testified yesterday, she said that there was no classified information in those messages and so forth. We'll see where the dust settles on this. There's still a lot of things that we're learning. But one of the things I said in the first hour was that, one of the things that Oz said, Oz, by the way, if you're new to the program, Oz is in here with me. Rush used to have Snerdley as the program observer. Oz is the closest thing I can compare Oz to would be our version of Bo Snerdley for Rush. But Oz said to me before the show, I'm kind of tired of conservatives. A lot of these folks have a double standard. If these things happened on Biden's watch and Biden's administration, conservatives would be in an uproar. And there's a certain amount of truth, I think, to what she's saying. But again, there's also the reality that we're still getting information. I still don't know everything that's, what was exactly known, when was it known, all that stuff. At best, though, this is embarrassing. At worst, it could have compromised the mission or put someone in danger. And so I don't know where we fall there. This is to be taken seriously. This can't happen. I think they've learned the error of their ways. Trump even said, we're not going to be using that channel for a while, and we're going to, just learn from this and not repeat it, basically. So, but my point in bringing that up is to say we all ought to be able to say when our side does something wrong. And I understand that there's sound bites. We live in a soundbite culture. Things can be taken out of context. Nobody cares to learn the context, or few people do in this country today. They would rather have enough information to justify what they believe already than to actually have their opinions changed on a matter. But if you really want to look at what's healthy about this, we should be interested in holding our government accountable and expecting that our government be operated correctly no matter who's in charge, right? This should go without saying. But let me turn the tables now. And I'm going to play a clip. This was a guy, he's some random leftist lunatic on TikTok. Now I know TikTok you can get a lot of good information on TikTok. You can follow us on TikTok. You can get some crazy delusional stuff on TikTok, just like you can anywhere else, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, X. But I'm going to say this. What I'm looking for are for the reasonable people in the center, the moderates, if you will, the people on the political left who are not all-out leftists, who are liberals or just a little bit of left of center Democrats. I'm looking for people to do what I did in the first segment and say, you know what, there's a problem here. There's a problem with what happened with the Signal channel. we need you as Americans to say that you have a problem with what I'm about to play, because this is undeniable that this is a massive, massive problem. This mindset, literally calling for the lives of Republicans. I'll play it for you. And I would hope any person who cannot say this is not good, is not fit to be taken seriously in our political discourse. They're just simply not. So I'm going to get to that in a moment, my friends. Let me, before I do that, tell you a little bit, for those of you who love seafood, let me tell you a little bit about Kenai Fish. They deliver some of the best seafood you're ever going to taste, my friends. They are a family-owned company delivering wild-caught Alaskan seafood straight to your door. They have salmon, they have sockeye, coho, and king salmon that's harvested from the pristine Kenai and Castleoff rivers in Alaska, my friends. These folks delivering the best wild-caught seafood you've ever experienced. It's vacuum sealed, it's shipped next day air to lock in that fresh, just caught flavor. It's going to come right to your door. It's going to come right to you no matter where you are, right out of the Alaskan waters. But it doesn't stop there. They've also got halibut from the Gulf of Alaska that's mild, it's sweet, it's perfect for any recipe. And they have shellfish, king crab, snow crab, scallops. It's the best Alaska has to offer. Kenai Fish is about quality. It's about sustainability, and it's about supporting hardworking fishermen. Go to KenaiFish.com today. That's Kenai fish.com. Again, Kenai is spelled Kenai, KenaiFish.com. And if you use promo code Todd, you're going to save 15% on your order. That's KenaiFish.com. You'll taste the difference, my friends, and you'll be hooked. So I'm talking to those of you out there on the left, those who are liberals, Democrats, moderates, independents, people in the center. Can we all agree that what I'm about to play here should be just universally condemned, if you will? Can we all agree with this? Because if you can't say this should be condemned, if you want to know the problem, may I suggest looking in the mirror? Here we go.
My name is Scarlett Kelly, and I am officially declaring war on the Republican Party.
Boom.
If you are a Republican on TikTok and you want to interact with me,
I don't want that.
You deserve to die.
Deserve to die.
You deserve to be shot.
Shot?
You deserve whatever suffering could possibly come to you.
Suffering.
If you are a Republican and try to start any of that kind of nonsense with me in person, you will lose your life.
Will.
This is war. I am not joking.
He's not joking.
It's done. You are not an American anymore.
Not an American.
You're out.
We're dead.
Off the list. You've been naughty.
Okay.
Like, come on. We're going to start giving you the coal in the form of massive stones on top of a slab of wood on top of you. Have a wonderful day.
All right. So that is that is bonkers, right? That's insane. I mean, he's literally threatening the lives of Republicans. Now, I chuckle at this. I chuckle at just the mindset of this guy. Like, who does this? Who does a lot of the things that you see on social media today? I saw an individual. Now, you see this a lot now on social media. Well, I saw a girl do it, but listen, it's everybody. They'll film themselves crying. Have you seen this? I don't know if this happens does this happen on Instagram, Oz? People will put some caption. Can't believe they're dismantling the Department of Education. That's the caption, and they sit there and they cry on the camera. And then they post that on social media, to which this Gen Xer thinks, what is wrong with you? You wouldn't have survived in the 80s with that sort of mentality. That you wouldn't have made it out of third grade. I mean, we live in a different world today. And listen, I know that message resonates with different people than are listening to this program. But these tough guys on social, and this individual isn't so tough after all. You could tell that he wants you to think he's tough. I think his account got taken down, but I was able to find this somewhere else on TikTok here. This account, this is Obvious Backup is the name of this TikTok channel, but it was recorded, and that's how I was able to share it. But I need the people across the political spectrum to say, no, whatever our political differences are, what this knucklehead is saying on TikTok is inexcusable, right? He says he's not joking. Some people think it's a joke still. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't get the humor. He's quite specific. If you're a Republican, you deserve to die, he says. He says if you're a Republican, you deserve whatever suffering is coming your way. So I would like to see people across the aisle, and I would listen, if there's people out there on the other side, or excuse me, on his other side, on my side of the spectrum saying these sorts of things, let me just use this as a blanket statement to say I condemn those things, and that's not the way that we approach it here on the Todd Huff Show. Being conservative, not bitter. That's not it at all. We think that that's part of the problem. In fact, I read a quote from the great economist, Thomas Sowell. I think I saved that in the stack of stuff here. I might not have. Here we go. Here it is. This is a tweet or a post on X by Thomas Sowell. This is what it says. One of the painful signs of years of dumbed down education, it's actually timely given the dismantling of the Department of Education here, but Thomas Sowell says one of the painful signs of years of dumbed down education is how many people are unable to make a coherent argument. And I know he's using big words here. If you're a leftist tuned in, if you're someone who believes that the soundbite I just played for you makes perfect sense and that Republicans need to die and suffer, you might not know what the word coherent means. You might not know what the word argument means. And that would be because of what he stated earlier in his post, the result of dumbed down education. But he says this in the latter part of this quote: they can vent their emotions, question other people's motives, make bold assertions. Boy, there's a lot of words these emotional folks are going to have to look up if they actually want to know what this means. But make bold assertions, repeat slogans, anything except reason. Anything except reason. And that, my friends, is the problem. And that's what happens when you resort to what this knucklehead is calling for, which is violence. He says, look, you deserve it if you're a Republican. You deserve whatever comes your way. You deserve to suffer. You don't even deserve just to die. You deserve to suffer, he says. And so, but he's lost any ability to reason. He's lost any and all ability to reason. And that, as I look across this country, I see a lot of that today. People have their feelings. People are all up in their feelings, right? They got big feels. They don't like stuff. They think if they scream loudly, that will somehow fix the problem. But it doesn't. But what's encouraging to me is that more and more people seem to be realizing that the raw emotion and the Trump derangement syndrome and the Elon now derangement syndrome that we've been subjected to, that we've watched, as I should say it this way, as we've watched others fall under the hypnosis of, I guess. Those have been completely absorbed in this anti-logical way of thinking, this emotional form of existence. As we've watched people that, we thought reasonably smart people do all sorts of ridiculous things. I mean, I go back to COVID. COVID to me is a great litmus test in hindsight now. Yes, there were questions. Yes, there were concerns and all that. I understand the health concerns, the economic concerns, the concerns about protecting our liberties. Of course, the left and the lovers of big government didn't care about liberty, and they didn't care about the economy at the time. They cared only about stirring up strong emotions. Remember the amount of hatred? Again, I can't get over this. The hatred that was spewed towards the unvaccinated. If you were unvaccinated and you needed to go to the hospital for a heart attack, they wanted you to die out on the streets. Jimmy Kimmel actually put this in one of his monologues. And by the way, his monologue was supposed to be a comedic event. It's anything but comedic. But we've all witnessed this extreme, emotionally based, factually absent sort of way of thinking. Logically just incoherent way of thinking. And this is what we've got to get away from. We've got to get away from these emotions and these threats, but it's what people who are losing the fight resort to. It's what people who are losing the fight resort to. They think that the louder they scream, the more absurd their allegations, the more ridiculous their claims. Think about AOC and Bernie Sanders out there now on their fighting oligarchy tour. I thought we were fascists. Now we're part of an oligarchy. I mean, what's next? I mean, they've called Trump an individual who's wanting to be a king. That's not an oligarchy. That's a monarchy. What do we have? They don't even know what we have. Excuse me, what we have. They don't care. It's emotion. It's, I don't like this. I need you to not like it. And if you don't like it, I want you to be so intimidated to support what I don't like that you'll actually make decisions just to get along with people like me, says the radical left. That's how they behave. Screaming in people's faces, adding nothing to the political discourse, adding nothing to the content, not adding additional context, doing none of that, just screaming, threatening, acting a fool. That's what we've got. In fact, it's actually gotten so bad that one of the ladies on The View, I've got this in the stack of stuff. Where did I say? I've got a bigger stack of stuff today, slightly bigger than what I'm used to having. But there's one of the ladies on The View has said, look, I don't think that this is appealing to people. You don't say screaming and making no sense and looking like fools on television and on social media. You don't think that that's moving the needle at all? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. But the problem is it's all they've got. They don't have anything of substance and logic because they simply don't have any substance and logic in their position. So it's a lot to ask someone to come up with a coherent, logical argument when it's not based in logic at all. It's based in feelings. It's based in emotions. So that being said, I'm going to play this clip. I wasn't planning on doing this early. It was in the stack. Sometimes I just see where the flow of the discourse, the dialogue goes, the monologue goes. But this is Sarah Haynes. Sarah Haynes is one of the least crazy people on The View, though she certainly is still a left of center individual here. But she's basically saying, I'm not sure if the AOCs, the Bernie Sanders, the people who are out there, screaming at the universe and all that sort of stuff are really the people we want representing the opposition to President Trump and the Republicans. Here's what she has to say about that.
See why people like the AOCs, the Bernie Sanders. I like even hearing the rally. I can feel myself clapping along. But The problem here is whereas they're tapping into the anger, I don't think just screaming and kind of performative, we're going to fight is the way to go. I want actual solutions. And that's why I like Senator Slotkin, who I keep repeating here over and over. She said, I'm a pragmatist, and I'm a pragmatist. She's from a purple state. You can't come at it just like an AOC comes from a completely blue area. Bernie Sanders, completely blue area. Alyssa Slotkin, Trump won her state. So when you're dealing with that kind of electorate and a country that's divided, I come from the school of thought is, I love to hear you shout, but I'm much more the person that says, show me what that got you. If screaming got you some kind of budget plan or a resolution or compromise, then bravo, I will be the loudest one behind you. It didn't. So I'm a more the put your heads down, unite under something, and get your messaging going.
But here's the other question for Sarah. What about the death threats? What about the calls for Republicans to die, like I played earlier? Can we all agree, pragmatically, that that's not a way to run a country? But the screaming, listen, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with getting animated. There's nothing wrong with having passion. I have passion here on this program. There's times I get fired up. I get fired up actually about quite a bit. Oz can tell you stories about that. I'm fiery, but that doesn't mean that I abandon logic and reason. See, to me, the fieriness is what drives me, and the logic is what guides me. Right? I guess the fieriness is the engine, and the logic is where I'm directing the car, how I'm turning the wheel, where I'm trying to go. But that fieriness is a good thing. But the left just doesn't have a fire. It has a burning, uncontrollable rage and anger. And it's a burning and uncontrollable rage that they can't even articulate. They're just angry. And that's why they turn into petulant little children many times, because that is for many of them, their emotional development stage that they peaked at, right? They throw themselves on the floor, they kick and they scream, and they get what they want. And the adults in the room say, listen, we're not going to reward that sort of behavior anymore. I'm not even going to take you seriously. Listen, you are free to express yourself, share your ideas, make your points, support what you want to support, oppose what you want to oppose. But if you're going to act like a fool and carry on like a lunatic and act purely out of rage, not just passion, but rage and vengeance and calling for the death and suffering of your political opponents, then I'm not going to. Now, I know we pay attention here on this show just to tell you what we're up against, but I'm not going to talk about, you're not sitting at the table. You know, I remember having Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners at my grandparents' house. We were a decent size of us crammed into a smaller area, but my grandma loves to have it, and I love going over there, and I love visiting and all that. I love seeing my family. But the adult table was full, and I was at the kid table until I was probably in my 30s because there was no room at the adult table. I'm telling you this right now. If you carry on like these petulant children, these enraged, just off the charts folks who threaten and have outbursts like little bitty children and toddlers, you're not welcome at the adult table if I'm sitting there. You're just not. You're free to say what you want, but if you want to be taken seriously, you're going to have to put your big boy or your big girl pants on. You got to choose which one you pick. And of course, that's going to be related to your biological sex. I got to take a time out though, my friends. Quick time out, back here in just a minute.
Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast and increase your financial wisdom. You will find episodes about investments, the infinite banking concept, how to fight inflation, the financial side of retirement, and financial questions Jesse asked his girlfriend. Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast on any podcast platform or watch it on YouTube. There are new episodes of the Wealth Talks podcast weekly. Search for Wealth Talks podcast online and subscribe for free.
Looking for a knife that's more than just metal? The Rainy Forge handcrafts blades in a real coal forge, the way they were meant to be made. Every knife is meticulously crafted, hair-popping sharp, and built to last a lifetime. From hunting to cooking, we've got a blade for you. Affordable heirloom quality. Visit therainyforgeblacksmith.com and click Buy a Knife to get started. The Rainy Forge, built with tradition, ready for your adventure.
At FurnitureMadeInUSA.com, we provide beautiful chairs, rockers, stools, and tables handcrafted by skilled American artisans in North Carolina since 1924. With every purchase, you're supporting American businesses, American workers, and their families. Don't just buy furniture, invest in a piece of American history. Shop now at FurnitureMadeInUSA.com.
Welcome back, my friends. You know, I wish, in a way, I've actually been, I gotta be careful how I say this because some conservatives won't like how I say this, but I've been, in a weird way, kind of cheering for the Democrat Party to be run by adults again. Now, listen, I don't say that because I have any inclination to become a Democrat. I'm simply saying that because the Democrat Party is at a crossroads. They're in an existential crisis. They are trying to define and, well, identify who they are, what they believe, what direction they want to take this nation. And listen, I understand that politics, there's a lot of facets to this, right? Political life in America, political life anywhere, there's lots of facets. And one of the realities is that, yes, of course, I'm a conservative. I love limited government. That means that in today's world, if I want to win elections, the only place that I know that I can actually have candidates in that pool of people in that party right now, the only place that I know that people who can win elections on the national level is the Republican Party. I also know within the Republican Party, there are people that I would refer to as rhinos, Republican in name only. These are people who are not principled conservatives. They're, in some cases, they're moderate, maybe in some ways even left of center sometimes when it comes to their view for the role of government. They're not really bothered by our debt. But a lot of these folks, they like the position, they like the authority, and they're not really there to forcefully, to speak up in Washington, D.C., and to really try to drive whatever branch of government they're in the right direction, back towards the Constitution. They're just kind of along for the ride. They're kind of weak-kneed. They're not inspiring. And so there's a problem in the Republican Party, for certain. There's a problem in the Democrat Party as well. There's massive problems in the Democrat Party. They're having much the same battle over there that we are having here in the Republican Party. There is a battle between conservatives, I've gone through this, and rhino types, moderate types, for control of the party. And, I mean, we still haven't had, in Congress, truly strong, I use the word strong, conservative leadership that has taken root. Now, it's done that more so in the House than in the Senate, and it is trending in the right direction, but it's still nothing like what we've seen in Trump's executive branch. So there's real problems between conservatives and rhino types, moderate type Republicans in the Republican Party, but there's also a battle within the Democrat Party. And currently the radical left has taken over the Democrat Party. Look at the people right now who are out there going across the country, holding rallies, who may be having paid actors in their rallies. I don't know if you've seen any of that. I don't want to get into that because I just don't know what I believe. But I definitely have the questions about where these people are coming from at these rallies. I certainly know that AOC and Bernie Sanders are popular in some circles, but nothing remotely close to the popularity of one Donald J. Trump. But anyway, if you look at who's out there leading the rallies for the left, it's Tim Walz. We talked about him yesterday. It's AOC. It's Bernie Sanders. These are people who are radically on the left. And the Democrat Party is in an existential crisis. They have abandoned the 1960s Democrat Party, and they are they're being run by people that have embraced these woke, radically left politics. And they've faced the consequence of that. They are dealing with the results of that right now. And so when I say I'm cheering for the Democrat Party, listen, If the Democrat Party would stop going left and come right, I don't know if you've ever seen any of these diagrams where it shows where the Democrat Party was in the 1990s and where they are today. They've moved hard left. And listen, it doesn't mean I'm going to vote for them, but there is something a little bit more reassuring about having a Democrat Party who, if they win power, will only take us 20% as far left as they will if the people running the party today are in charge. And so, fortunately, and this is what they're coming to realize, the people that are running the party don't represent the average American. And I talk about this a lot. I talk to the rank and file Democrats, and I'll have Republicans. Oh, that's not true. Because I say the rank and file Democrats, let me finish that thought. The rank and file Democrats are not as far left as the people that they are electing. In fact, I say the people in the Democrat Party, rank and file, have a lot more in common with me, a conservative, limited government guy, than they do with the people who are running their party. And I've got Republicans who say, oh, no, if that was the case, they would have stopped voting Democrat in whatever year, 2012, 26, whatever year they pick. But that's assuming a lot of things. That's assuming that people who vote for a candidate vote for the entirety of that candidate's platform and positions. That is beyond naive. I mean, typically today, you've got people who are casting ballots based upon, my goodness, remember in 2008, I saw people who said they were voting for Obama because he had a good jump shot. There was actually a person that said that. It's ridiculous. Absolutely insane. People vote for candidates for a whole bunch of reasons that often have nothing to do about the ideas. And that's why people always try to find these politicians who are likable and relatable. Because if you have someone up there that you feel like you like and that you feel like understands you, for a lot of people, that's a huge step in the right direction. They don't even need to know what the person's voting or what the person stands for. This is what happened with Barack Obama. The Hope and Change, we talked about this recently, so I won't go back into that, but this Hope and Change campaign that they ran, slogan and everything back in 2008, it resonated because it taps into those emotional reservoirs that people have. People want to have hope about their future, and they want to see things change so that their futures are more hopeful. But what the beauty, I guess, if you're into deception, the beauty of the campaign was that they never identified, they never defined what they meant by hope and change. And so people can make it be whatever they wanted it to be in their minds, and that's, of course, what they were voting for. So they thought. Anyway, but this is the direction that the Democrat Party has gone. It's gone left, but the average rank-and-file Democrat is not a leftist. Case in point, there were only, a handful of Democrats who voted to keep biological men out of women's sports. But it is a issue that I think I saw 2/3 of Democrats support. I think that's what I saw. Democrats supported not having biological males in female sports. But yet here they are. Here they are voting for these same characters. So there's more going into these issues and decisions than many people realize. And that's why it does come down to communication. It does come down to listen, it's one of the reasons why the media demonizes conservatives and Republicans so much. They know that it works. It might work a little bit less than it did, but in some circles, it might even work more because people have completely shut out anything, any news, any information that isn't consistent with the left's media narrative. So the Democrat Party, I would like to see it come further to the right. I'd like to see it come back to where it was in the 1960s, but we're not going to get there. But the bottom line is the Democrat Party is in a crisis mode. And the only way, and I think they're going to come around to this at some point, the only way that they're going to have a chance at surviving and having any chance of not losing, say, more seats in 2026 in Congress, maybe even losing a couple more seats in the Senate in 2026. The only way to do that is to put up candidates that are not far leftist. They've got to put up candidates that are closer to the center. They've got to abandon some of these radical positions. And by abandoning those, that is good for all Americans, even if, my friends, even if you are yourself not a Democrat. Simply having a party that's been forced because of public pressure, the American people, the voters, have said, you've gone too far to the left, right? We've seen what happens when your policies are instituted. We've seen what happens when you run economies. We've seen what happens when you legislate your morally bankrupt worldview on this country. It's chaos. It's pandemonium. We've had enough. And so Democrats are reeling. Democrats are reeling. That's what Sarah Haynes was talking about when I played that clip last segment. And on the other side of this are these lunatics like the guy I played from his TikTok video at the top of the hour, out there saying that Republicans deserve to die and suffer, and if they see him in public and basically engage with him, he's going to kill them. I mean, literal death threats on social media. That is what exists in the radical left, because it is all emotion, no logic, no thought. This is partially the byproduct of a broken education system, but I would even say more than that. It is a byproduct of a culture that has completely abandoned its, the source of its morality. It has. This culture has abandoned our Judean Christian principles in a lot of ways, and it is, of course, now those chickens are coming home to roost. Quick time out, though, my friends. Out of time. This segment, you're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast and increase your financial wisdom. You will find episodes about investments, the infinite banking concept, how to fight inflation, the financial side of retirement, and financial questions Jesse asked his girlfriend. Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast on any podcast platform or watch it on YouTube. There are new episodes of the Wealth Talks podcast weekly. Search for Wealth Talks podcast online and subscribe for free.
Take the guesswork out of gourmet. Playhouse Spices gives you a leg-up weapon in the kitchen. Playhouse Spices elevates your cooking with gourmet, handcrafted blends made with clean, healthy ingredients. Explore exciting flavors and become a masterful home chef. Visit PlayhouseSpices.com and use code TODD for 20% off your first order over $50. Playhouse Spices. Seek, explore, taste. That's PlayhouseSpices.com.
Seeking natural solutions for your health and wellness? Look no further than Garden Root Remedy. We offer handcrafted herbal tinctures, salves, teas, and more made with only the highest quality organic herbs. We provide personalized consultations to help you find the perfect herbal remedy for your specific needs. Experience the power of nature's healing touch. Visit Garden Root Remedy online at gardenrootremedy.com. That's gardenrootremedy.com. Rooted in nature, blooming with wellness.
Welcome back, my friends. The Democrat Party is going to have to choose between the radicals leading it, the people that the power brokers in the Democrat Party want to see in office, people who will move the party further left. They're going to have to make a decision. Are they going to continue to support these radicals, these people who behave like clowns? By the way, I can't show you this because it's a video. There's some audio, but did you see Jasmine Crockett, allegedly, I got to say allegedly, but it's on video. Did you see that she allegedly assaulted someone in the Capitol asking her questions? She grabbed and took the guy's phone or camera, whatever he was using when he was asking her questions. So we'll see what happens from that. They're going to have to decide. They, the left, are going to have to decide, do they want people like this running the country who cannot get people to vote for the party on a national level? Are they going to want that, more of that in Washington, D.C., or are they going to realize that they have taken this as far as it can go? They should have learned their lesson, and it's time to reverse course and stop having radicals on their ticket. I've got Rashida Tlaib in a soundbite. She's refusing to condemn something else that seems quite easy for me, condemning people who are engaging in Tesla violence, violence against Tesla owners, violence against Tesla dealerships, violence against Tesla charging stations. So we'll get to that, my friends, in just a moment. Before we do that, though, I want to tell you a little bit about Solti. Solti is an all-natural, clinically proven way to lower cholesterol. Science has spoken on this. Research has been done. Cholesterol of people who have used Solti has decreased, and it might decrease yours as well, my friends. If you're concerned about your heart health, if you're concerned about your cholesterol, maybe you have high cholesterol, maybe it runs in your family, maybe you're just reaching the age where you really want to start taking proactive care of yourself, whatever the reasons, looking to start a Solti supplement is a good thing to do. I take the product. I think you should consider taking it as well. Solti.com is the website, SOLTEA. Solti.com. If you go there, use promo code Todd, you're going to get 50% off your first 3-month supply, and you're going to get free shipping. It's a great deal. Some of you might be able to take your cholesterol numbers before, and then take it after you've used the product for 90 days and see if it has, in fact, lowered your cholesterol. You have nothing to lose, my friends, except those high cholesterol points. Solti.com, SOLTEA, promo code Todd, get you that special offer. All right, so here Rashida Tlaib is. Radical, insane, dangerous representative. She's walking into the she's out at somewhere near Capitol Hill, and she's approached by a journalist from the Daily Caller. And this journalist from the Daily Caller just wants her to say, you know what, this stuff happening at Tesla needs to stop. We need to stop starting fires. Stop setting Teslas on fire. We need to stop trying to intimidate Tesla dealers so much that they take the logos off of their cars. Have you seen this? The Cybertruck, people have taken, and other Tesla models, they've taken the Tesla logos off of these, and they've put a Toyota logo on it. Or I've seen a couple different versions, maybe an Acura logo, whatever, on their vehicle to make sure that, hey, people aren't targeting. I mean, it's kind of hard to hide the Cybertruck, quite honestly, because it's such a unique-looking vehicle. You either think the Cybertruck is super cool or you absolutely hate it, I found. But regardless, it's pretty obvious what it is. But people are trying to hide it because they're being targeted. They're being chased down the street. I've seen videos of that. Their vehicles are being keyed. Elon Musk has turned on Sentry mode for all Teslas, which basically means it's being video monitored. And there's been all sorts of people that have been caught on camera keying Teslas. So surely Rashida Tlaib could condemn this, right? You would think. But then, of course, you also know who you're dealing with Rashida Tlaib. I want you to listen to this dialogue. She says some ridiculous things. She's asking the guy what he gets paid to be a journalist. She talks about his health care. This is a 23-second clip, but she doesn't condemn the violence against Tesla. Here it is.
Hi, Congresswoman Miles Morrell with the Daily Caller News Foundation.
Are they paying you well?
Well, that's besides the point. The question is, will you condemn?
I believe you should be.
Will you condemn the recent attacks on Tesla dealerships?
I can tell you right now that they don't give you health coverage because I'm telling you this is very dangerous on how you have to walk up against these steps.
But will you condemn the recent attacks on Tesla dealerships?
She waves goodbye. So she doesn't answer the question. She just says stupid stuff. Miles, what do they pay you? That's beside the point, Miles says. No, it's not, because I care about you think you care more about what Miles gets paid than what Miles cares, Rashida Tlaib? Give me a break. Who do you think you are? The moral, just the virtue signaling and the condescending arrogance of these people is much to behold. But what she didn't say, which is obvious, listen, violence committed against Tesla dealerships, against Tesla charging stations, against Tesla owners should be 100% condemned. Let's stop it. And by the way, if there's other stuff out there happening to other people as well because of that, because of whatever product they own, how about we just apply it across the board? She can't say that, my friends. I gotta go. SDG.
Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast and increase your financial wisdom. You will find episodes about investments, the infinite banking concept, how to fight inflation, the financial side of retirement, and financial questions Jesse asked his girlfriend. Listen to the Wealth Talks podcast on any podcast platform or watch it on YouTube. There are new episodes of the Wealth Talks podcast weekly. Search for Wealth Talks podcast online and subscribe for free.
Looking for a knife that's more than just metal? The Rainy Forge handcrafts blades in a real coal forge, the way they were meant to be made. Every knife is meticulously crafted, hair-popping sharp, and built to last a lifetime. From hunting to cooking, we've got a blade for you. Affordable heirloom quality. Visit therainyforgeblacksmith.com and click Buy a Knife to get started. The Rainy Forge, built with tradition, ready for your adventure.